Hi, I'm Lou with another episode of My Car Story, and today we're in Carlisle, Pennsylvania at the Carlisle events. We're indoor on drive-in day. I'm with Rick Tice. Rick, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Now, Rick, tell them what let me do this. Tell them what you do with your club. Tell them about your club.
I'm involved with most of the national Oldsmobile organizations, and this would be more directed towards the Hurst Olds Club of America. I'm a member there. I've been a past host of a national meet in 2012 in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and continue to be involved.
So you've got all these emails of all these Hurst Olds guys, and today we're going to video your car, and you can ship it out to all of them so they all become subscribers.
They'll all be looking.
Sounds like a plan. What is the car we're going to be featuring right now?
This particular car is a 1986 Olds Cutlass Supreme with a aftermarket package, which was created by Doc Watson, founder of the Hurst Olds relationship. It could be installed on any G-body Olds Cutlass from 81 till 88. It was originally intended as an anniversary edition in 1988 for the 40th anniversary of Hurst Olds. GM didn't pick that up from Doc, and so he produced this package himself, sold it to the public. If you followed through with the paperwork instructions, you could then get a badge number or door number for the car, making it considered to be an actual Hurst car.
Let's take a look while you're talking. Stand right alongside me right here. So go ahead. Here's this crazy package I've never seen before on Hurst Olds.
This car is badge number 57 of approximately 100 that we know might be out there. Pictures that we've seen and collected through the Oldsmobile Hurst Olds Club. And this one, since it is an 86, is badged as an Aero Commemorative, as opposed to the 1988s, which would be badged as an Aero Anniversary. The kit included the ground effects, the spoiler, and from that point on...
and all of this too, right? All of this special
that is pretty
trim?
much stock trim. The paint color or paint scheme is what would be unique other than the badges. And speaking with Doc Watson over the years, his intent in continuing to hope to produce something like this when all the hot rodding and performance was kind of dying out going into the 90s was that people would still be able to have something that was sporty or hot rodded, and it would be put their own touches to it, make it their own vehicle. So the gentleman who originally did this in Pennsylvania and somewhere in early 1989 chose to buy a black car specifically for the purpose, used some of the striping that came with the package, purchased the aftermarket hood bump, steering wheel, shifters, a lot of things that became available once you were involved in the process. And the car then became available on a estate sale, and I just kind of stumbled upon it, or jumped out at me. It wasn't something we were searching for, but it was unique, and I decided to make it ours, and it's been quite an attention getter. There's not many of them seen in these type of shows.
Rick, how many of these have you seen?
I'm aware of 3 others that I have physically seen, other than some pictures that, again,
3
we've been across. But there's 3 other known cars that I have seen. There's actually 4 that were produced by Doc Watson for some executives. We're not sure that all of those still exist, but there are some of those out there. And there was another member of the Hurst Olds Club who actually produced one himself. So probably 6 that are absolutely confirmed numbers, but saying personally, I've seen 3 of them.
And then that piece, it's actually like a little hood strip.
There was a hood strip that was originally on the hood, but when you got that hood bump, then you got the additional strip to match up with that. And the Hurst Olds emblem was something again that came with the kit.
Let's take a look at the interior. So let's take a look at the trunk for just a moment. And I do like to have trunk or treats. I don't have treats on this one, but I do want to show you the trunk. All of our documentation is saved.
Everything underneath here is pretty much original, and as we mentioned, Doc Watson had some involvement with these cars. You can see his fading signature from 1993 that he tells me was done at Englishtown, New Jersey, and his little joke was that his name was Jack Doc Watson, so he always signed the Jack instructions.
Sign the Jack instructions. Very Nicely done. A nice roomy interior, or a nice roomy trunk. Okay, we're going to close that. Let's take a look at the interior, shall we? Now, you were showing me there was a serial number. Where did you show me that?
There was originally a door tag number which was in bad shape and failing, which would have probably gotten pasted to the back of the door.
Okay.
I do have that original tag, but it's been removed and I have it for safekeeping. I didn't want it to fall off the door for me somewhere.
Got it.
And that I will generally put out for display with those items.
But you showed me something. You had it with you?
I do have a...
show me like a facsimile of that.
copy.
And the seats in here are so plush. Yeah.
Surface here.
So it looks
This
like
is actually a paperwork copy of what that sticker looks like. Again, it was in bad shape and coming off, and so I've preserved it. I just put it out to display as opposed to having it on the door. Interior-wise is pretty much standard Olds Cutlass, other than the gentleman's edition of the special chromatic shifter was available at the time. That badging on the dash is something that came with the kit. And
this came with the kit.
That came with the kit. Also bears Doc Watson's as well as Linda Vaughn's signature.
Kind of an interesting instrumentation console where it pushes out in that section, isn't it?
Yes.
And now tell me about this shifter.
At the time, it was kind of a popular new thing out there. It's what they call a ratchet shifter. It was kind of oriented towards drag racing themes. It was one of the initial versions they made that could kind of be put into street cars, and the gentleman preferred that at the time and had it
Is this
installed.
correct with the car?
And again, it would have been something that would have been installed as part
Aftermarket.
of the modifications.
Oh,
here
part of the
to-
modifications.
To, it became available with the Hurst options, and so that was something that was added to follow through with that theme.
The Brome, or the high-end edition, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it would be. The gentleman who did this was actually a doctor, so I think he went that way to keep it kind of within tune of his level.
Got it. Let's
go
take a look under the hood.
The underhood is pretty much the standard 307 Oldsmobile motor of the day, but it does have some of the, again, Hurst additions, dual snorkel air cleaner, and the performance part of it, the camshaft and things were brought up to the what would have been similar to the Hurst modifications and engines for the 1983 and 84 Hurst models.
Man, did they pack it in, huh?
There's lots of plumbing.
Lots of plumbing. I mean, just look at there it is. Just like the little tags. Is there a fender tag or something usually? Is it what we had on the door was the tag?
That's probably most of the information there. Yeah.
Let's fire it up, shall we? Let's listen to it idle for a second, and then we'll. Interesting how it comes out the quarter more than the back. Go ahead, Dan.
It's kind of a preference option, but
Give it a little rev, would you, Rick? All right, we'll shut that down.
definitely has that distinctive, identifiable Oldsmobile rumble sound to it.
It's got a little throat to it.
Yeah, Oldsmobile's always had those deep toned notes.
Well, let's close the hood on this one. Why did you have to have this car out of all the cars in the world?
Again, it was something unique. I have a number of Oldsmobiles, again, across the different genres, and I seem to gravitate towards the oddballs or the unique. They don't seem to be the mainstream, the big dollars, but there's a lot of me and some of my friends in them. The amount of restorations, or as I say, resurrections, are all done pretty much by myself. The paint jobs, all that sort of thing happens in my garage, so they're not necessarily high-end, but they're attractive and get a lot of attention, and we do drive them. Have a lot of fun.
Rick, obviously a great caretaker for this car. You've done a great job. The car looks fantastic. It looks like it's brand spanking new. Thanks so much for coming out to Carlisle. Thanks for being on My Car Story. I appreciate your great job of being caretaker for this car.
We appreciate your appreciation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.